G'day everyone, welcome to the Hook, Line and Sinker YouTube channel, Andrew, where we take the opportunity to re-examine project boat builds that we've done on our TV show, Hook, Line and Sinker. But this is the sort of the longer, unedited, you know, raw vision version.
It's good fun. It's like a trip down memory lane for us. But it's also kind of, the untold story, because often when you're doing a TV program, you are restricted by time constraints within the show. So there's a lot that we leave out. These project boats that we do take anywhere from sort of 8 to 14, 15 months. So there's a lot of sort of untold story.
Well, I mean, we tell the story, but there's stuff that we leave out. So anyway, what we're talking about now is Beast 2, which is a 25-foot Bertram Flybridge Cruiser, not the original Beast. That was some 5 years before we did this. This is sort of the biggest boat that we've ever thought about buying, thought about doing up. Last time we touched on the idea that there were heaps of these boats around. There still are, and they were cheap. They represented easily the most boat for your dollar. When we bought ours, we paid, I think, $22,000 for this boat. It's a 1980 Bertram 25 on a trailer, mind you.
So that's triaxle trailer, good thing.
We're in Hobart. We wanted to get it to your place.
So we just purchased it, and it had a bit of a big boat feel about it. It even had a boat broker. We'd never bought a boat through a broker before. So we turned up in Hobart in the morning, ropes off, and away we go.
And it should be mentioned that the only time we'd driven it before, both engines had overheated, and we now had a journey of some 60 miles to complete to get to Hardy's house. Righto, so this is entertaining and exciting and time for life jackets. We have paid, Andrew, what I believe is called in the industry top dollar.
No, look, I think it's not a bad buy when you look at how much boat we've got for our $22,000
boat. Look at it, all around us we're surrounded by boats.
We're our big boat owners. We own a Flybridge Cruiser.
And we're going to take it, we're leaving the boat sales Tasmania place, and we're going to take it on a shakedown voyage of how far?
It's about 50 odd nautical miles, 100 odd kilometres.
To Hardy's house. 100 Ks, only one of the temperature gauges is in the red at this point, so I think
we'll be fine.
Looking good.
Right, lines off.
Lines off. Righto. Yes.
So with 400 litres of fuel and a fire extinguisher, we set off.
Full astern. Both astern, you right there, Hardy?
Couldn't be better, dogs, in my massive Flybridge Cruiser.
I just saw another one.
Yeah, no, they'd be looking at this one. They'd be quite jealous.
Righto, what's that mean? There's 2,500 RPM, no mechanical disaster. Throttles are a long way out of whack. Oh, we're up. We're in the big boat. Engines trim up, trim up, trim up. Temperature gauge here reads green, downstairs reads red. We are choosing to believe this one. Just going to pull that motor back. Need to get the motors nice and synced. 2800 I'm looking for.
The weather's just closing in on us, but that's okay because we're almost to our destination, which is where I live on the east coast of Tasmania, about 50 odd mile from where we purchased our new Beast 2. And it has to be said, it's been a fantastic trip. Interestingly enough, when we told our cameraman what we were doing, we were going to pass over the cheque for $22,000 and then 5 minutes later take the boat 50 or 60 miles to sea. He said, no, I'm not coming. I don't trust you boys. So we've been left to film it ourselves. So this is what it looks like. I'll just get a video from my phone. Yes, there's Nick. There's Nick. No, point the camera. Yeah, okay. But I think we've done pretty well, wouldn't you say? I think it's been absolutely a dream run.
There hasn't been a fire yet. There's been no fire yet.
This gauge, oh, come and get a shot of this. Get a shot of that end, that. Yeah, this here. Can you focus on that? Oh, now it's gone cold. No, oh no.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
But I think we're just putting that down to a bad gauge, aren't we?
Yep.
Camera work's not that hard.
No.
So, aside from some wonky gauges and wonky camera work, the trip was largely uneventful. Beast 2 carried us the 50 miles to Hardy's house in comfort and in style.
So the voyage going well, and you know, I remember that pretty well, that voyage, and
So do
just little by little falling in love with that boat. The way it rode
It
had that sort of feel of just carving the seas.
Yeah, we sort of turned the corner to head into Triabunna, and it was a little bit snotty.
Yes.
There was a bit of wave action,
Yeah.
but the boat was dry. There was no waves over the windscreen. It was quiet. It was smooth. It was, as you say, it felt like a bit of a big boat. And when you're in the Flybridge, you look down and you see the bow and you think you're in a massive 40-foot Flybridge.
Yes.
Until someone sees you from outside and they just look like a fat bloke in a little Flybridge Cruiser, but that's all right.
We probably should talk about, so this boat came with a trailer, as we have touched on.
Yep.
And, you know, kind of coming up with the value proposition of a boat like this. And for anyone buying a second-hand boat,
Yes.
there's a sort of an old school way of thinking about this. If you add the value of the engine,
Yes.
to the value of the boat and ancillary equipment,
Yes.
to the value of the trailer,
Yep.
you essentially come up with the purchase price.
Yes.
Hard, I guess, in some ways to come up with the value of a second-hand tri-axle trailer, but
But we would have put the value at around 10 grand, wouldn't we? Like if we put that trailer
Yes.
up for sale this weekend for 10 grand, you sell it.
I reckon you probably
You
do.
do.
I reckon you
You do.
probably do. So here's a little look at our trailer.
Now, of course, your trailer is a critical piece of your boating jigsaw puzzle. Without it, we'd have to leave Beast in the water permanently, and that opens up a whole new can of worms. So we need our trailer to be good and solid. Now, at first glance, Beast's trailer is a little beat up, a little bit old, and a little bit rusted. But I reckon we can get it to come up as good as new.
Now, we should point out that Andrew has volunteered to project manage the trailer restoration. So none of what you're about to see will be of much value. However, he has got a mate, Johnny, who is pretty handy with stuff.
What do you reckon needs to be done?
New brakes, suspension, rollers, paint.
What about all the rust? Can we?
We'll sandblast all that off.
Yeah.
That won't take long. Sandblast that, undercoat, paint, check the brakes, suspension, and it's good as new.
Bearings?
Bearings. Got to put grease in them.
Can we repack them? Can we do that?
Yes, they got bearing buddies on them,
Yeah.
so it should be good.
Okay. What do you think? I mean, you know trailers. Is this a thing of beauty?
It is. It suits the Beast.
Yeah.
It couldn't be any worse than the Beast. Anyway.
Does it make you excited? I'm excited.
Sandblasting done, we moved into phase 2.
All right, so all the rust, all the surface rust has been literally blown away. I also got the guys there to put a coat of undercoat on it. So she's ready to be painted, but before that, we want to get the brakes working. Some of them are in not that good a condition. We've got to put new lights on it, we've got to put new rollers on it. And then
it's pretty much ready to go. Oh, we've got to get it registered again. And here it is, I'm calling it a work of art, Dykes. What you're inspecting there was all rusted and terrible and corroded. It's now been sandblasted, painted, undercoated. There's no rust in any of it.
Certainly a work of modern art, Andrew. You're familiar with some new rollers, which I like. How have you determined which rollers you'll replace and which you don't?
Well, some were very, very in need of replacement and others weren't, but the rollers were very expensive. I've done this on a budget.
It's not the colour that I was expecting.
The paint was cheap. I've done it on a budget. And I went to the truck shop. You wanted cold galv? I said cold galv. They wanted like 40 bucks a litre for cold galv. They said, we've got something just as good. This is called pewter.
Yes. And surprisingly doesn't sell very well. There's not as much demand for it.
I got the whole lot for 30 bucks. Very good.
You'd have to say,
yeah,
it's a big, heavy, sturdy thing.
It came with our boat.
Yeah.
For the 22,000 we spent, we got this trailer.
Yes.
It's worth, like, to get one of these built.
Electric breakaway brakes on all 3 axles. You can drive it on, we've done that. You've done well.
She's ready to get registered.
What are you going to call your workshop? The Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
So we safely made it to Triabunna, where we approached the marina. Luckily our trailer was waiting for us there. We didn't have to try and dock the boat because every time you put the boat in and out of neutral or reverse, it would stop and then beep at you and you'd windage and then you'd be blowing onto other much more expensive boats. It's very stressful.
That voyage went fine. I used the boat a couple of weeks later with all my family on board.
Yes.
And I remember as I came back into port, you know, people have been talking about a bit of a fuel-y smell on board. And anyway, when I got it back on the trailer, I looked, and one of the fuel bowls on, I think it was the starboard motor, cracked, had been fixed up with Sikaflex and was leaking fuel into the bilge. And that's, you know, moments, milliseconds away from a really, really nasty experience. You know, you hit the key, boom, the thing goes and you've got a big fire quickly. So it came time to talk about getting rid of those engines, as much as we kind of like the look of that.
Not that that was the engine's fault, but, you know, there were things
like
that were going wrong with the engines. The starboard engine, for example, would dump all its oil over the course of a day.
Yeah, we had a happy one and an unhappy one, didn't we?
Pretty much,
so, because our show has forever been sponsored by Yamaha, we were keen to talk to the guys at Yamaha about what would be an appropriate sort of repower for a 25-foot Bertram. Guys, listen, we've got what I'm calling an idea. You know the Beast. Everyone liked the Beast. Everyone loved the Beast.
Beast was great.
Bertram, big 23-foot Bertram. You've probably seen it floating around. What about this, Grant? What about we go bigger and better than the Beast? Bigger boat, more horsepower.
Bigger and better than the Beast.
Bigger.
Can it be done?
Oh, yeah.
The trick now is to choose the perfect power solution for the boat. Single or twin, massive horsepower or something sane. The possibilities were endless.
Righto, so Beast, Glenn, 350 horsepower, but a 23-foot boat. We're talking 25 feet. What are we going to do?
Well, we've got to go twins. We've got to go twins.
Twin 350s.
Oh,
yes. Grant, twin 350s. Will the marketing department come at this? What about weight, Glenn? Do you know how much 2 stern drives weigh? They weigh a tonne, literally a tonne.
There's a lot of cast iron and 2 big engines in the back. We're going to have to move some weight. That will be part of the project. We'll have to move some weight to where those engines come from. Or we could put Andrew down the back on a seat. I'm sure we don't want to do that.
That's a fat joke.
Yeah, that's a fat joke. Traditionally, 25-foot boat, stern drive, 175, spare 175. So, hey, I reckon we've got the horsepower to match it with our new lightweight 200.
200?
200s.
2x2.
Well, we all want to go further for less.
Yes, I
So we want fuel economy. Do we want, we want the best we can offer in fuel economy?
Indeed.
4-cylinder, 200 horsepower, pair of them, digital controls.
Gleno, we're talking twin engines, twin 200 engines to be exact, mate. How are two of these going to go on the big Bertram?
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be ideal having the two motors instead of one. I mean, look, let's go back in time. They all had twin stern drives. Very rarely did you get a boat that big with a single stern drive. True. So most suited to pairs. It will do it effortlessly, which is the aim of what you want to do with a big boat.
What will two give us that one won't?
Look, I always say that it will ease the boat out of the water better. You'll be able to get onto plane without having to drop the throttle right down and that big lag before it gets up and goes. That will be gone. But also out in the big seas, it also gives the boat a bit more of stability, like having trim tabs.
Yes, okay. Now we've had experience with the 200 before, and it's a beautiful engine, and it comes with all the bells and whistles, the big LCD screens, the push button start. And mate, fly-by-wire, what's that going to mean for us?
Yeah, when I heard you were going to an upstairs station, I mean, traditionally we had long control cables, mechanical control cables that always give you hassle. They, you know, they stretch, they become lagged, and they break gearboxes. We're removing all of that now with this new technology, and it's nothing more than what it is it's digital technology. So rather than having a cable to go upstairs, it's just a harness, just an electronic harness, which it means just to push the button, drop it into gear, and away you go. It is that easy in the rigging.
Yes, I cannot wait to set this big Bertram up with a pair of these and all the fancy, schmancy Yamaha stuff to go with it, mate. It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, it'll look good. A brand new little digital display there too, so all that bird's nest wiring, it's all gone. It's going to be clean and tidy. It'll be first class.
So next time we delve into this journey of Beast 2, we take her to sea one last time with her original engines, and it is one of the trips of my lifetime.
Yes, it was a remarkable trip.
Yeah, we drank red wine in the galley the night before, and then we caught a magnificent fish out of it, all in a $20,000 boat. But then also we begin work.
Yes, and there is, as you will see, quite a bit of work to be done. Yes, we've done work.
Really opens up the back.
Look at that, we have done work. Hope you're enjoying our little visits down memory lane for the Hook, Line and Sinker project boats, Hardy. Obviously, there are lots more to come. And as I say, if you are enjoying this, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell button, which I think notifies you when we put a new video up. We'll try and keep them coming out as regularly as we possibly can.